Will GTA 6 have facial recognition? I've seen so many articles about this and I've had so many comments from people asking, and to be honest, I hadn't seen anything about it until I really started Googling it. And I was actually quite surprised. And my source for this video is linked down below, so if you want to read more about it, you can click there. But before we get into this video, I need to cover off a few things. So, Mr. Boss for the Win has done videos about this, and I really need to clean up the fact that this isn't going to limit who can and who can't buy the game, or who can play the game and who can't play the game. This is predominantly about marketing consent, not about the ability to play a game. I watched a couple of Mr. Boss for the Win's videos about this where he spoke about this, and the information was just pure false. In fact, there's so many articles, including statements from ESRB, which directly contradict his video, that came out before his video, and he referenced them in his video, yet completely ignored everything those articles said. I just want to clarify that a lot of people are worried about this and fearful about this, and they shouldn't be, and hopefully in this video I can explain why you don't need to worry, and hopefully put to rest some of this fear mongering. And the next thing I quickly want to touch on, a few people in my comments on my videos have compared me to Mr. Boss for the Win, and whenever I've replied back to those comments asking how or why or anything like that, I have not had a single reply. In fact, I've actually created a little folder of screenshots because my plan is in a year's time is to put together like a big long video which is just like all of the screenshots, people comparing me to him but not replying when I ask why. Really petty, really silly, really childish, but I think it's kind of funny. So you've got that to look forward to. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking and subscribing, and without further ado, let's get into it. There's a lot of rumours floating online right now suggesting that buying GTA 6 will require facial recognition. It began with certain people believing that ESRB will implement new technology that scans a person's face to determine whether they're eligible to purchase a game. ESRB spokespersons have clarified to outlets like PC Gamer and Gizmodo that this technology is not meant to scan the faces of minors to prevent them from purchasing new games. Obviously, GTA 6 fans have caught wind of this, and Grand Theft Auto has historical precedents for mature ratings, and even adults only due to some controversies that have happened over the years. The ESRB has released a statement clarifying that this technology does not confirm the identity of users, nor is it intended to scan the faces of minors to determine whether they're old enough to purchase particular games. It only uses images to determine the subject's age in order to ensure compliance with the COPPA's privacy requirements. News outlet Gizmodo also contacted a spokesperson and received the following information. The ESRB does not intend to use facial age estimation to prevent children from purchasing restrictively rated games, the spokesperson added. It would appear that the ESRB is not using this new technology to prevent young people from buying mature games. Instead, they're using it for the COPPA, the Children Online Privacy Protection Act. This means that companies seeking to collect or share information from children must get parental consent to do so. So what does this mean? Let's put it simply, because I had to have it put simply to me for me to understand it properly. These games developers, let's take for example Rockstar or EA, whenever a child uses their services, it collects their email address, their account information, what activity they do on the console, whether they use certain apps for streaming or whatever it might be, and that information is collected by games developers to then send out relative marketing emails, whether it be in the game, whether it be externally from the game, to give you updates about your account or what new offers they might have for in-game purchases, microtransactions. The problem is this is fine if you're 18 plus, because you're an adult and you're legally allowed to sign up and consent to receive marketing communications. The problem is there's nothing stopping little Jimmy, 13 years old, from creating an email address and playing a game online and therefore being fed marketing information. Now this seems all completely harmless, but the reality is, and if you are young watching this, please understand where I'm coming from. If you're young, you are more susceptible to advertising. And if you're constantly getting your emails bombarded every single day from games that you play, these games developers are actually breaking several laws in regards to your privacy. Now, is this necessarily their fault? Kind of, but not necessarily. It's more your fault for signing up because you're not supposed to opt into these things until you're over 18. What the ESRB are trying to do is they're trying to make it easier for games developers to discern how old the person is that's playing the game. So with a mature rated game, an M-rated game, this all depends on what country you're based. It's very difficult to put an exact pinpoint on what it means, but essentially, more often than not, parental consent is needed for you to play the game, but also parental consent is needed for you to opt into marketing. So the facial recognition thing might be an app where when you first sign into the game, an adult will have to scan their face to confirm that they agree for you to receive marketing correspondence. Now this isn't going to be you turning up into a shop and having to scan your face for the cashier. It's not how it works. It's usually when, for example, if you go to GTA, you go online, you'll have to accept compliance. And the reality is if you are like 9-10 years old and you're playing Grand Theft Auto without a parent or guardian's knowledge, you probably shouldn't be doing it anyway. I believe that there's nothing wrong with violent video games, but I also do understand that at a young age, you are more susceptible to the images you are shown in games, and unless that's moderated or controlled by a parent or guardian, for example, you shouldn't be playing Grand Theft Auto for 7 hours a day as a child, because that will have some knock-on effects to the way you perceive things around you. And I don't just mean violence or anything like that, I mean it's very antisocial behaviour for someone of that age to be doing. So me personally, my opinion, and I'm probably going to lose a lot of subscribers over this and you're probably going to hate me in the comments, but I think this is a good idea. Protecting children from aggressive marketing campaigns is really important. Now, as a child watching this, you may think that it's really harmless, you're receiving all of these emails and marketing correspondence from these companies, but it is aggressive, and they know children are receiving the emails, and what they're doing by proxy is making the marketing campaigns a little bit more aggressive. So normal businesses, they usually send between 1 to 2 emails a week maximum to let the customer base know what's happening. And there's a lot of game developers out there that are sending like 20, 30 emails a week of aggressive marketing to young children. So I'm all for this. And the last thing I want to say in this video, be careful what videos you watch about this, be careful who you believe. I know obviously I'm a YouTuber, I'm in the GTA community, and of course I create titles and thumbnails that encourage people to click, but I always try and make my titles and thumbnails perfectly reflect the content of the video. Mr. Boss for the Win actually did a video about this months ago, and the whole first half of the video was completely incorrect, telling people that they won't be able to play this game unless they scan their face, and that's completely false, completely incorrect. There's a few more things to consider here as well. Firstly, this will predominantly apply to the US, Canada, the UK, Australia and Mexico, I believe. The ESRB only really govern games in the US, Canada and Mexico. However, they do have some input with different agencies, whether it be in the UK or Australia, so they all talk to each other and they all kind of come to a conclusion together. They all kind of help each other out to make it more universal for the games developers. So the games developers don't want to have to comply to 1,000 different regulations. If there's only 3 different regulatory bodies that they have to deal with, that's way more preferable. It makes everything from printing the game to distributing the game to all the artwork, everything a lot easier. So yeah, to conclude this video, don't worry, you'll still be able to play GTA 6. The reality is that this rating probably won't even come into effect until like 2026, 2027 anyway. They haven't put a timescale on it yet. And also this has nothing to do with you buying the game, playing the game or anything like that. This is more about signing into marketing agreements. Let's be honest, there'll probably be a way around it, a tick box or something. Not that you should do that, I'm just saying. If anyone wants to join the Discord and become part of the community, there is a link down below in the description, so you can join the Discord, you can follow me on Instagram, and I try to reply to as many messages as I can on Discord and on Instagram. On the Discord, there's also a tab for video ideas, so if there's any video ideas that you'd like me to cover and like me to research, put them in there. So far, I think about 15 of my last 30 odd videos have all come from ideas from the Discord, and of course, if it's your idea, you'll get credited too. So please consider becoming part of the community. It's absolutely free of charge to join the Discord. You don't have to pay anything. You can just join, get involved with the conversation, and join an awesome community. Thank you all for watching today's video, and if you did enjoy today's video, please consider liking and subscribing. Any support you can give the channel is massively appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.